Hello everyone, this is Sagar Shah and welcome to the eighth day of our training. It's been a week since we have begun, and every morning at 9 I'm here, and so are many of you there, eager to learn something new, eager to interact, just have some fun and also learn in the process. Uh, Today I'm on time, so we have couple of minutes before we can get going. I would just like to meet all of you who are here, uh, and I see a few known names here like Tiny B Boss. Then we have Ripple Padmani, Suresh Borse, Card Collision, Vimal Dave, Yogesh Meena. I think slowly and steadily we are you know growing into some kind of a family. Every day we meet here, we speak with each other, and we spend around 1.5 hours, uh, but still 2 more weeks to go and plenty of learning to do. uh, how are you enjoying these sessions? If you can just let me know in the comment section if you are enjoying it or not, and if you have certain suggestions you can also do that, so that we can take care of them in the coming 2 weeks. Yeah, we have Stehen 9000, Dandapani Kuppuswamy, Abdul Kalam, Neve Patel. Okay, so Neve has been able to finally change his name. Narayanan Srinivasan, Mittal 1982, Vishal Kumar, Tharun, Mayur Hegde, Nimish Lavanya, Niranjan Varyar, Sushant Thombre, Rani Pooja, Vimal Dave, Jayashri Dangche, Rahul Gupta, Sudhakar, Saurabh Poddar, Josephine Geeta, Sachin Paul. Sachin, I'll get back to your question how to draw arrows. I think in the browser, not so easy, yeah, to draw arrows, but usually it's alt, and if it doesn't work, then perhaps you can't do it. Juan Rajagopalan, uh, Anish Adiga, Virinchi Vadali, Mayur Hegde, Preet Mahatre. Yeah, I'm very happy that I can see the same names, because many times, it's like we are continuing this sessions, and if the same people are coming back, it means they are learning in one go. Okay. Uh, Sumed Ramteke says, very interesting and instructive. Half of the time should be given to learning and half to our games. Okay, interesting. Mayur Gondalekar says, I like these sessions despite not being able to watch daily. Will definitely improve my chess if I ever teach it to someone, their chess too. Okay, very nice. Pankaj Panchal says, very nice, improving day step by step. I had read the Jeremy Silman book. It's a nice revision. Okay, fantastic. So let's get going for today's session, and let's begin with our tactics solving, because as always it's important to solve a few tactics if you are playing a tournament as well. And let's say you have a round at say 9 a.m., then good to sit down at 8:30 and devote 5 to 10 minutes solving tactics, not tough ones, some easy ones, so that you can get used to this entire, when you sit at the board, you are not going to blunder very soon. Okay, so this one is black to move. What should black play? It always starts with knight forks, yeah. Rohitaru says, every day I wake up late, but today I managed to get up at 9. Wonderful. Today is April Fool's Day. I should have thought of something interesting to fool you guys. But anyway, yeah, knight g4 says, everyone here, well done, guys. You are very strong and in the right mindset. Okay, and I think we should take the queen. Yes, I guess taking the rook also should be fine, but taking the queen just is makes more sense. Okay, let's go to the next position. No, come on, this is too easy. Uh, I don't think you need to be tested on this. Okay, let's go for this one. Black to move. Yeah, interesting position. Itohan says April Fool is tomorrow. Yeah, you are in USA, so for you it's tomorrow. Oops. Yeah, this one is black to move. Sachin Paul is the first one to make donation today. He says he has donated $5 and says, "Can you shed some light on how to study reverse color openings, Giri, etc. Make it sound so easy. English is a reverse dragon with tempo ahead." Yeah, I think today we are going to have a look at something on these lines about reverse dragon. So let's discuss it then. Okay, so here we have a few options. By the way, Sachin, thanks a lot for your donation. I would just like to tell all the viewers that whatever you are donating is going to the Prime Minister's Care Fund, cares fund. uh, I will show you what we have collected until now, so you know. So basically, if you go here, you will see that this is the amount that we have raised until now through your donations on YouTube. So this is on day one, no one contributed, no one was aware of it, but as day two came, day three, it kept growing, and we have 13,129 rupees raised, which is amazing. And if you guys want to also contribute, there is a link in the description of payu money where you can donate, and all the money goes to uh, the fight against coronavirus. Yes, so let's get going. Okay, so queen h3 looks pretty natural, but let's say after king h3, hg3, king g2, is that already winning? Because for example, if I go rook h2 check, king g1, I don't see really a mate, or is there one? Ah, what a beautiful finish. Yeah, let me see if someone can give me a complete answer. I still haven't received. Ripple Padmani says queen h3, king h3, hg3, king g2, rook h2, king g1, g2 is unstoppable. No, 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 it's not unstoppable. First of all, I can play knight f4 check. It's possible over there. Secondly, which blocks the bishop. Secondly, there's no mate because rook h1 is met with king g2. So it's not a mate. So who is the one who can give me the entire variation, over here? And if you count the pieces, you will see that there are equal pieces on the board right now. Queen f3. Okay, if you play queen f3, I play king g1. And what next? I mean, do you have something up your sleeve? Gargi says, I missed the past two sessions because of high fever. Are you okay now? Is your health better? Ah, Ilam Parthi is here, who is a very talented youngster, and he says Queen h3, King h3, hg3, King g2, Rook h2, King g1, gf2, Rook f2, Rook c1. It's a mate there, so Rook f1. You take on f1, King f1, and Rook a2, and you're a Rook up. Well done, Ilam Parthi. By the way, he is what, maybe 12 years old, and he's already has a very high rating. Maybe let's check it out. How strong is he? Of course, we've covered him quite a bit. So he is 1989 and he's just 10 years old, not 12. Yeah, 10 years old. And he's one of the biggest talents in Indian chess. So thanks for joining in, Ilam Parthi. And Neev Patel has also managed to give the same answer. Well done. So the right move is Queen H3, King H3, H G3, Rook H2, King G1, and now not G2, because G2 doesn't solve anything, it's not going to be a mate, but you play G into F2, and now he must take with the rook. If he took with the queen, I can take the queen. So check, and you see the bishop is defending the rook, so takes, and you take on A2 and you are a rook up. uh, so that was a nice one. And yeah, this is very natural to think at first, but there are two problems. First of all, rook h1 is always met with king g2, so I can even move the rook, say, to rook a1. But otherwise, I think knight f4 is also pretty strong in any case, and then I can also pick up this rook. Okay, last one for the day in terms of tactics. Ooh, bd8. Okay, you took the queen. It's time for some pretty checkmate. Let's see if everyone can get this. Not so tough. Anish Adiga says I'm 10 years old. Wonderful. Mayur Gondalekar also got the right answer for that. Wonderful. Rogue says, how can anyone be so far sighted? Well, Rogue, that if you want to improve at chess, you need to look one move ahead at a time, and it won't happen overnight that you can see so many moves, but regular practice will make it better. Sairam Sampath, Mohini Bhave, Ilam Parthi, Reshu Jain, Honi Arora, Kushal Jani, Shri Kumar Kesi. Everyone got the right answer. Not knight c2, because then after king c2 there is a free square for the king to go to d1, but you give knight f3 check and then bishop into f2, and that is checkmate. Well done, everyone who got this. By the way, we have a contribution of 100 rupees from Agastya Day, who says, I'm 12. I'm donating my savings to the COVID victims. My father has donated my 2400 rupees to the care fund. Please make sure this reaches them. Wonderful, Agastya. Of course, we'll make sure that it reaches them. I'm very glad that a 12-year-old boy is thinking so much about the well-being of others. And well, this is what also chess teaches you, yeah, to take care of everyone on the chessboard when you are playing. Well done. Okay. Quest says, are you getting my answer? Yes, of course I'm getting your answers, but I can't read all the names because there's so many. So I usually read the first few names who answer. Okay. So should we get down to some work? Today is, what were we doing? Can anyone remind me with regards to imbalances? What is it that we were going to do today? If someone can remind me about. Harshini Anand says, how to donate. Well, there is a super chat button near the chat which has a dollar sign, so you can donate through that. Or in the description of the video, I have put a pay you money link, so you can also donate via that. So there are two options. Please do so. Okay. Uh, yes, Itohan says rightly. Pawn structures, also Sachin Paul, Harsh Suryavanshi. Tejas Joshi says double pawns. Well, double pawns we looked at yesterday. We are going to look at backward pawns today. Okay. and I'm going to teach you backward pawns in a very interesting manner, not through just games but through interesting stories. Okay, so let's get going. Yeah, everyone says pawn structure isolated, maybe tomorrow, today backward pawns. Um, so yeah, so we have a chessboard here, uh, and let me first just tell you what a backward pawn is. Okay, and backward pawn, let's imagine that you have a structure, or maybe I can show you via an opening. For example, e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, takes, knight f6, knight c3. Black over here plays the move e5. Okay, and when e5 is played, you will see that this pawn here becomes a backward pawn. The reason is, let's say I play some move knight b5, and this is the well-known Najdorf variation. So, and in that, if black plays the move after knight b5 d6, then it so happens that this pawn is not defended by any pawns. Okay, and it is backward than the other pawns, like this one is in the front, that one is backward, so it becomes weak. Okay, and is the video buffering? I'm not sure. Okay. Well, until now the internet has been very kind to us, but I hope that today is not the day when the internet starts to fall. The first day of the candidates, I did a live show with it, and and it was really bad. But since then, I have had no real issues, and I hope that today as well there won't be any. Uh, Maybe this was the only issue. Okay, so I first of all tried to do some fun with by telling you the about the Najdorf, when actually it's the Sveshnikov. So be alert, by the way. uh, this is the Sveshnikov. Yeah, Niranjan Varyar actually found it. Also Tejas Joshi. Everyone, you guys are alert. Yeah, so in this position you see the d6 pawn is backward. Yeah, and e5 when played actually makes the d6 pawn into a backward pawn so that no one can protect it, and usually the square in front of the backward pawn is a weakness, okay, like the d5 square in this case. So if you have a backward pawn, make sure that the square in front of it is taken care of. And if your opponent has a backward pawn, then also make sure that the square in front of it is where uh, you can put your pieces on. Okay, so let's see a game that I played in 2012, and it was against Shweta Gole. Okay, she is a youngster from Maharashtra. She was rated around 2000. And we have another contributor today, Anish Adiga, who says, I want to donate to the PM Cares Fund from my pocket money. Wonderful, Anish. I think Anish is also some 10 years old. So today we had Agastya Day, who is a youngster, and then Anish Adiga, who's also a very young boy who's contributed. Fantastic. This is really nice that young boys they are contributing, shows so much uh, empathy towards others. Creative master Shikhar says thank you for your guidance and chess learning, and he has also contributed 500 rupees. Thank you, Shikhar. That is wonderful. Okay, so Parth Goyal, please stop sending the same message again and again. Did I see your annotated games? Well, in general, if you have sent me, I would have seen it, and we will be looking at it. So please don't send the same message in the chat. It's disturbing and doesn't help in any way. Okay, so the way I begin is I'm black in such games and I play g6. Okay, and my point is, after knight f3, play bg7. I mean, even if c4, I'll play bg7. Okay, but here to knight f3, I went knight f6. Now, I don't like the King's Indian or the Grunfeld. Like, I'm not a King's Indian or a Grunfeld player. But one opening that I do have in my repertoire is the Benko. Yeah, I love the Benko, which comes after d5, b5. Actually, the best move order to reach Benko is d4 and f6, c4 c5, d5 b5. Okay, and it's a pawn sacrifice. And if white takes it, then you play a6 and you give up another pawn. And the idea is to play d6, g6, knight d7, bg7, castles, and queen a5, rook b8, and you will see all your pieces are beautifully posted. Okay, this is what Benko Gambit is all about, and I have played several games and I like it basically. Okay, so uh, what I started off was with g6, and now when my opponent played knight f3, I played knight f6, and when she played c4, I went c5. Now, those who are playing d5, they have to be prepared for Benko, so they are a little bit scared, and whenever you start playing this, they would play e3. This is a very common way to play. And so what I did was, in this game, I played bg7, knight c3, and castles, bd3, and after this came cd4, ed4, and the move d5. Okay, so this is how it works basically. What you are going to do is play some kind of this is a reversed Tarash. Okay, so how is it a reverse Tarash? Actually, d4, d5, c4, e6, nc3, c5, cd, ed, knight f3, knight f6, g3, knight c6, bg2, bishop e7, or bishop d6. Actually, bishop e7 is better, but if we go for reversed, this is the position that we have. And if you look at what happened in the game, it's simply reversed. Okay, maybe a tempo down, but it's a reverse Tarash. Okay, now what happens here is that after h3, in general, black's plan is the same. You play knight c6, and castles, you take on c4, and after bishop c4, you play your knight to a5. Okay, so you want to remove this bishop from this diagonal, so it goes back, and now you take this diagonal in your control by playing bishop e6. This is all Tarash ideas. Yeah, if you play it with the white side, you play knight a4 and bishop e3. So white went bishop f4 in this game, and I played knight d2, knight d5, bishop e5, and now I played knight into c3, b into c3, and you will see that we have a backward pawn on the board. Yeah, and usually it must be mentioned that a backward pawn is should be on an open file most of the times, so that it is a weakness. So imagine I had a pawn here, then this one is not such a big weakness. But as I have mentioned, the square in front of the backward pawn is also weak, and so here I want to put my bishop or knight on that square. So you will see how this works out, because after rook c8, bishop g7, king g7, queen d2, I went bishop c4. And the point is, after rook c8, queen d5, bishop takes, knight takes, you will see that black has complete control over the position. His pieces are beautifully placed. These two pawns are weak. Also, this pawn could be a weakness. And after knight d2, I could have exchanged it as well, but I kept the knights on the board. And the point was, he can never go c4, because she can never go c4 because d4 is hanging. So queen d3, and now I went knight c4. If you take, I'm going to take here, and you will see that in this major piece and sort of middle game, it's called the fourth phase of chess. So you have opening, middle game, end game, but somehow this is a fourth phase which has both the features of middle game and end game, because there's a queen on the board and it also has some end game features. Alekhine was a big master of this, as Mihail Marin has pointed out in his book Learn from the Legends. Knight b1, e6, queen e2, b5. I think white had absolutely nothing to do, so I brought my rook in here, and then I exchanged, and you can see now how I try to move the pieces around. White has no counterplay, so you just go here, rook c6, so I'm bringing the other rook, but nothing to be hurried upon. Yeah, you just go slow and steady, attack here, bring your king back. And now, when slowly and steadily white gets tired and has spent some time, you go to your next plan. What should be black's plan here? Can you come up with a good plan? Yeah, as you rightly pointed out, here the imbalances are pawn structure. Black is slightly better. Minor pieces, black is better. Well, here in this position, black has much better pawn structure. These pawns are terribly weak, at least the c3 pawn. And because c3 is weak, even d4 starts to become weak. So now what should be the plan? I'm attacking with three pieces on c3. He is defending with three pieces. So how should I make progress here? So Tejas Joshi asks, why b6 a5? So here the main plan, as rightly pointed out by Shanks, is to play a5 b4. Also Arun Dikshit, Samir Unadkat, Reshu Jain, all of you have got it right. Also, Ilam Parthi says it right, that you play a5 and then you play b4 and you win the pawn. This is how usually you win backward pawns, or an even when it's an isolated pawn. This is how you win it. By the way, a big thanks to Setu Minocha, who says on chessbase.in you haven't done analysis for candidates round 3. Will you be doing it? Well, candidate seems to be like right now quite an old topic, but I think Vidit has done the analysis for round 3, so you can have a look at that. And yeah, hopefully candidates will begin soon. Okay, so a5 in the game, rook b1, b4, and in this way I won a pawn. And then later on, well, she tried, but I think this is just winning another pawn, and then making sure that everything is under control. So that the rest is not very difficult. I bring my king in slowly and exchange the rooks now, when the king and pawn ending is completely winning. Okay, so the thing to learn here is, first of all, after the move knight d5, here my opponent had an isolated pawn. Okay, so usually when an opponent has an isolated pawn, you don't really want the pawns to get connected. But in this case, I actually thought that these two pawns, which are some kind of a hanging pawns, if they reach c4, they are called as hanging pawns, yeah, c4, d4. But here, they are still not reached that stage, and I actually blockade here. I blockade on this square on c4, and I don't really try to win it very soon. The point is, if you keep it blocked, the opponent is under a lot of pressure and you can win it slowly and steadily as in the game. I could have even taken the knight here itself and played this, but you can see I'm in no hurry. I go back, then I double, and now when she's threatening c4 here, finally I come back in. And that puts pressure on your opponent. Whenever you have a better position, don't hurry, be calm. Okay, so this was a nice game. I would like to give you a homework here if you can note it down. I think there's a famous game of Alekhine with this structure. Yes, with he's black, and if you can find it, just let me know, and maybe that's your homework. You can have a look at it. Okay, now the white was Shweta Gole, who's a good strong player from Maharashtra. She's a female player. Uh, and now we go to another game that I played. This was in the same year in 2012. And why I'm showing you this is because kind of this system is quite repetitive. Okay, so a bit of a story for this game. So I was playing at National B. It's called now National Challengers, and it was taking place in Tirupati. Okay, and in it was a tournament where I was, maybe there were top 30 who were going to get qualified to National A, and I had never played National A until then, which is the premier championship of the country. And I was somewhere around the 30th or 35th seed. So I was very much hopeful that I will qualify, and I was playing pretty good chess at that point. And it so happened that I started off okay, one and a half out of two, and then I lost the third game, and then I drew, and then I lost again. And at some point, I was four and a half on eight, and four and a half on eight is actually, it means that you are almost out of the race because it's a 13 round event and you need minimally 9 points to qualify, something like this. So I had to score four and a half out of last 5 rounds, and I started to think what's going wrong. And it was so happening that I would get a winning position, and then I would be at the board, and then I would start getting nervous, I would get under time pressure, blunder, and lose the game or draw a winning game. So in such situations, what is to be done? That's the point. So I thought that, whenever you are, and this will happen to you as well during events, that you're playing a tournament and things are just not working out, no matter how hard you try, it just doesn't work out. And so I thought, well, let me bring some change about myself. And so what I did was I was staying around 1 or 1.5 kilometer away from the venue, and I would usually travel in an auto rickshaw to the tournament hall. But this time I said I won't go by auto. I will go running to the tournament hall, and it was very hot at that point. I think it was in May in Tirupati. Is really scorching heat. But I wanted to be in the mood for the game, so I went running to the ninth round. And I usually would go and sit on the board for, say, if the round is about to begin, I would sit there for 10 minutes, and then the arbiter would say start your games, and I would play. This time I sat somewhere in the corner, and when the arbiter said start your games, I actually went to the board and made the move immediately. My main aim was that I wanted to be alert for the game. Yeah, I also ate a little less lunch, and I was sitting on the edge of my chair. So the moment my opponent would play, I would think and I would make my move. I would make my move very quickly, because not like I want to play fast, but I was purposeful on the board. And so I won the ninth round, Then I played the 10th round. I won it. I won the 11th round. Also won the 12th. So I was 8.5 out of 12. And then on the last game, I reached the top board, and I was playing against Akash, G Akash, and I could draw the game and qualify. And I was very keen on doing that, but somehow it didn't work out. He didn't want to draw, and then I played on, and I won that game, and I scored 9.5 out of 13, and I finished fourth in that tournament, and I qualified for my first national A. So it's a very memorable experience of how midway I could actually uh, change things. Basically, it's not easy always when your tournament is going downhill. You cannot really change it, and this was the 10th round. So it was basically, I had won the ninth round and I wanted to keep the momentum going, and I was playing against my very good friend Atul Dahale, who's still very good friend of mine, lives just a kilometer away from here in Mumbai. And he was my roommate in that event. So when we got paired, he told me that he was going to watch a movie, and I said no, I'll prepare. So I prepared for the game, and on the next day when it began, he opened with d4, and I played g6. Okay, uh, and he played c4, and I played bg7. He played knight c3. I played c5. And now you can remember, I mean, against Shweta, it was more like knight f3, and my knight was on f6, and I played c5. Bishop was still on f8. But we will come to the same position: c5, e3, knight f6, knight f3, castles, bishop e2, and now you take. You take, and play d5. That's the general plan here. Castles, knight c6. So you all know, yeah, what to do. h3 was played. So everyone, tries to play a little bit carefully, because they fear that, okay, bishop g4 will come, and then dc4 is a threat, then d4 would be weak. So h3 seems like a normal move. What should black do now? Come on. I have already showed you what is the idea, what are the ideas in this system. Yeah, Vipan Kumar says one Karpov game also has the same idea in Nimzo Indian by Jakob. Vipan, can you tell me who was Karpov's opponent? I was trying to find this today, and couldn't get that. So who was Karpov's opponent there? Gargi DC says in certain games I get better, but sometimes I cannot take full initiative. What to do? Well, Gargi, if you get better, and I have explained this in one of my previous sections, I think it was on day number 5, where I said if you get into a winning position, the most important thing is to be alert and to keep calculating. Many times we start relying on our intuition. Okay, this move looks good, let me make it. We stop calculating, and this actually leads us to make blunders, mistakes. If you don't do that, I think most of the times you'll be able to convert better positions. Okay, very good. Everyone is alert here, and plays dc4. Arun Dikshit says, I'm not so sure about dc4. Bishop f5 is to my taste. Also possible. Doesn't look like a bad move at all. But, well, I wanted to follow my system. dc4, bishop takes c4. And now, what's the next move? What do you do? Yeah, basically knight a5. Well done, all of you. Knight a5. So he went back bd3. And now what's the next move? So basically it's some kind of a system, I would say. Tejas says, please take a topic on how to win one positions next sessions. Yes, this will be definitely one of my sessions in this 21 days. I'm going to show you the most painful defeat of my life. Okay, so yeah, knight a5. By the way, all those who are saying knight a4 or something like this, please work on your notations. Maybe you're typing it wrong, then I can give you the benefit of doubt. But Try to get your notations right. Okay, work on them. Yeah, dc4, bishop d3, and now the next move, as everyone rightly pointed out, bishop e6. So Atul went bishop e3, and now I took the half open file rook c8. Oh, sorry, the open file. He played rook c1, and what's the next move now? How do we continue? How do we continue here? Yeah, this position, black has very nice control in the center. I like playing it with white against the Tarash, and I also like playing it here. So now you have made all the useful moves. How do you improve your position further? Yeah, Sumed Ramteke, Stehen, Chanchal, Ujwal. Many of you, now it's a bit of a choice, you can go bishop c4, perhaps you can go knight c4. There are interesting, but I like the move to play knight d5. Okay, and the point is, if you take here, I'm going to take it with my queen, and somehow my queen cannot be dislodged from here. The rooks are connected this way, and a2 is perhaps hanging, and I can jump in to c4. So everything looks good. He played queen e2, and here I decided to continue my strategy, which all of you are very well aware of now, to give my opponent hanging pawns, or you can say a backward pawn on c3. Yeah, this is a weakness on c3, and I'm going to take the square in front of the pawn. So bishop c4. Okay, now takes, knight takes, knight d2. I went queen d5, and you can see that the themes are just repeating from Shweta's game. In that game, she had, I think, done bishop f4, bishop e5, and exchange this. Here the bishops still remain on the board, and to whose advantage is that these bishops remain on the board? Is it to black's advantage or white? Can you please tell me who is uh, benefiting from this? By the way, what is the name of this opening, says Karan Parik? Well, difficult to say, but maybe reverse Tarash Rubinstein system is the name when you played with white against Tarash. So you can say reverse Rubinstein system in the Tarash, or yeah, I mean, maybe it's also coming from some kind of an English opening sort of a thing. The confusing thing here would be nc4 or bc4 before. I think playing bishop c4, exchanging the bishops, is a good idea most of the times. Then the knight can sit there. So whom does it? Who has the advantage because of having these two bishops on the board? Very interesting that Neve Patel and Probal say black. Soumya Mahesh says white. Jimmy Joseph, so that's Jubin Jimmy, says white. Very interesting. I thought in general having these two bishops here would be very advantageous for black, because this bishop is quite a poor piece. You see these pawns over here, it's so I don't see it, and at the right moment I can play e5, and then my bishop will start attacking c3. So in my opinion, having these two bishops is definitely in black's favor. Okay, so take rook b1, b6 was played. By the way, Jaideep has contributed 400 rupees. If you go through the list on chessbase.in, which I have put up, which I'll show you at the end of the class, Jaideep is a constant every day. He's contributed every day. And he says, thanks Sagar for the session. Wanted to ask if Chessbase 15 program and chessbase.com live chess, are they similar? Wanted to take up subscription. If I upload a game from Chessbase 15, will it show up in the web version? uh, Yeah, let's discuss this at the end of the session. We'll get back to this question. Very interesting and lot of points to be looked at here. Nupur Sancheti says, I met you at Jalgaon tournament where you stood first. Okay. That last game which I showed you of against Shweta Gole was in the Jalgaon tournament. So A4, and I think I made a very interesting decision here, which was to take this bishop. Of course, it's a bad bishop, but more importantly, what I was looking at was to, somehow rook coming here, and I couldn't find a way exactly how to prevent this, but perhaps I should have taken here bd2 and played this position. I think this would have been much simpler, but I took here, and then after rook c7, rook b5, queen a2, and here white should have been active and given up a pawn with a5, but he played passively, and then after rook d8, knight b3, uh, rook c4, you will see that now I'm threatening to take here on b4, and then to take on c1, and then d4 is hanging, and somehow surprisingly, I don't know what happened to Atul that day, he just resigned the game, which was quite surprising for me. Okay, is everything okay? Yeah, connection is okay. So I think overall in this game, what you learn again is the same thing. Give your opponent a backward pawn and then settle in front of that backward pawn. That's the main thing to aim at. Okay, let's look at another game very quickly to make sure that these concepts stay in your head. We tend to forget stuff very quickly, so this is the aim here. So once again, I'm black, and this was in some rapid tournament, and now you know what I'm going to do. Yeah, so I'm not even going to ask you d5 castles, hc6, h3 takes, and now knight a5. Good. Bishop d3. What to do next? Bishop e6. And you will see the same thing repeats and repeats in so many games. Rook c8, and now knight d5. Queen d2. You take. You put the bishop there. I don't even have to think. I can just go to sleep. Instead, okay, queen d5 is what I usually do. Here I played queen c7, e6, rook d8, take, queen c4, exchange the queens. So now I have a beautiful knight on c4, and actually speaking, this game was pretty easy. I won a pawn, and I went on to win the game. So one last game, just so that I know you guys are going to get tired of this perhaps, but I just want to show you how many times and from how many different openings this system can actually arise. So this was against Raiz Ahmed, and he played e4 and I played the Karo Khan, and then you will see that we reach the same position once again from this system. Now Caro-Kann, Pano, Potwinic variation. Of course, this is a very knight f3 g6 is a risky system. In fact, what black should do here, what white should do is to take and have ideas like bishop c4 here or queen b3, play aggressively, active chess, but he played bd3. This gave me the chance to finish my development. I took and knight a5. By the way, we have a contributor here, Rahul Venkatraman, who contributed $50. Wow. And Rahul is my school friend, and he lives in the US, and we were in the same class, and he's not a chess player, but he follows chess regularly, and he follows what I'm doing, and he's done really well in his field. And today, just to support this initiative that I'm doing, he's contributed $50. Well, Rahul, a big thank you to you. Such a nice gesture from you. Okay, so that makes the a big contribution, biggest contribution until today on this channel. Um, Thanks, Rahul. So here BD3 was played, and now came Bishop E6, as you all know. Now you go Rook C8. Again, you know this stuff. Knight D5, and here my opponent didn't really get the hanging pawns, or you can say the backward pawn here, but what he got was a weak isolated pawn. And I just continued playing normal chess, uh, and I managed to win this game. I think it was not at all difficult to win this. I won a pawn and later on the game. So guys, I would say that this is definitely a very interesting system that you can play against d4, knight f6, c4. You can start with c5, and if your opponent plays knight f3, g6, knight c3, you can take here, but you can also wait. And if he goes e3, you play this, take, oh sorry, bishop d3, takes d5, castles, dc4, bishop c4, knight c6. And yeah, it's just you get this position, and you get this system where you put your knight here, then your bishop here, then you put your rook here, then you put your knight here, then give him a backward pawn, exchange this, oops, sorry, not like this, exchange this bishop on c4, put your queen on d5, double your rooks on c5. And so you know everything. Next time you win a point with this system, just write a mail to me on chessbaseindia at gmail saying I won the game. Yeah. Okay. What if white plays d5? Well, where? But if he plays here, I think you have knight a5 already. Uh, and then maybe bishop e2, perhaps. Okay, maybe this is playable. I can go e6 and then get these things exchanged, perhaps. It's a possible system. I agree. That's why usually I do not take it so soon. I would play knight c6 so that I don't give that option. When, let's say, he plays h3, now I take knight a5, and now there is no time for d5 basically. Okay, so I just want to add one more thing here, which is, if you are playing this system, you can start off with d4, and you can play g6 or knight f6, and when he plays c4 you can go bg7. And one of my favorite systems here is to play c5. Okay, and this is something which I shouldn't be teaching you guys, because it's not a very how should I put it? Not a very correct system. So if there is someone here who is a coach, please be alert. What I'm showing you has to be taken with some care. Okay, Mayur Gondalekar has contributed 200 Japanese yuan. Thank you so much, Mayur. He says thanks for yet another lovely session. My pleasure. So usually, if he plays e3, I have no problems. I'm going to go knight f6, as we have discussed, castles, cd, ed, d5, put my knight on c6, and so on. But white can also play d5, and that's exactly the point. So now what has happened is, if the knight were on f3 here, c5, d5, I would play the benko, and I would say, okay, you take this, I'll take play a6 here. But because the knight is on c3, I cannot even play the benko, because he just takes it with his knight, and then I don't have enough compensation. So I came up with this interesting. I learned it from I think it was Roman Jinji. Maybe you have heard of his name, and I took. Okay, this is dangerous stuff. B takes c3, and this is in line with our imbalance theory. Yeah, what you are learning here. So when I take on c3, I'm actually creating an imbalance. I'm trying to say to white that look, I'm giving up my bishop and I'm giving you two double pawns. Okay. By the way, Tanmay Srinath is here and he says play the Benoni e6. Well, agreed, Tanmay. That seems like an interesting option, but Gingy Indian, yeah, this is known as the Gingy Indian, not to be underestimated. Okay, Rahul Anil Bhagwat has contributed 400 rupees. Thank you so much, Rahul. Very kind contribution from you. Very nice of you. So now this Gingy Indian, the point is if white gets e4, bishop d3, let's say knight e2, bishop e3, castles, f4, oops, not f5, f4, he is going to, push me back. And look at these weaknesses here on the dark squares. These are going to be horrible. So I came up with an interesting move. I mean, it's not me who came up, but I studied an interesting move here. And any suggestions here what black should do here? Yes, Arun Dikshit is right. Arun Dikshit is right. Also, Mikhail Botvinnik is right. The move here is f5. Okay. Manu Das has contributed 40 rupees. He says, thanks, Sagar, for the lessons. A small contribution. As I think it was Modi who commented and tweeted, who said to someone who contributed some $5 or $7 and said it's a small contribution, and he said the prime minister said there is no small contribution. Contribute whatever you are comfortable with, whatever you can, and right now what you have contributed is your feeling, which is really important for us more than the amount. So thanks a lot, Manu, for doing this. Very nice of you. Okay, Shank says white has space advantage in the center and queen side. White has doubled weak c pawns, perhaps could become weak. Right now they are not so weak because I have nothing to attack, but they can become. White has the bishop pair, very good. Black may have future dark squared weaknesses on the king side. Very correct, very correct, very nice. He said the imbalances, and but chunks, always remember your imbalances should end with some kind of an evaluation. What do you feel? Who's better? Is white better or black? Yeah, many of you said f5, and now here the point is you are white, okay, and your opponent is playing like this. Your opponent is me, and he says, I'm first of all going to give my bishop. Okay, supposed to be very important, it's like the dragon bishop, and then I'm playing f5. Now as white, what do you do here? How do you combat this? Arun Dikshit says Chess India is the best chess channel to follow nowadays, deserves limitless praise and appreciation. Thank you, that's very kind of you. Tejas Joshi has said a move which is interesting. I'm going to talk about it. Not what is the defense with white in such positions? Okay, we'll come to it. By the way, so I'm just going to do a small search in. I'll first show you what I'm doing here, um, and to show you how potent this variation is. So let's go to Mega Database and let's go to players and try to find Sagar. Okay, yeah, there I am. And let me see if my game in this system is saved. So I'll go to position and I will copy board and I'll put it here. Oops, so many games here. Oh, come on, something is wrong. Control F, advanced, position, copy board. No, come on. Something is going wrong. It's showing me all the games. Okay, let me do something else. Because I think I have some games here in this system which go. So let's say prepare against black, d4, g6, c4. Yeah, and these are the game. Yeah, show me. This is the one which I wanted to show you. So now you can see this game, and I'll show you how this system is very dangerous for black if he doesn't play properly. So I take, play f5. Okay, and now my opponent, who was around 1800, she said, okay, Sachin Paul, you are right, yeah, that you must do something like active. But she went g3. Okay, it's like a passive system. By the way, a big thanks to Manigandan Kuppuswamy, who says thanks for the lessons. He's contributed 400. Wonderful, Manigandan. Thank you. Queen a5, I played. So now I'm attacking this pawn. And a brave player will say, okay, take that pawn. It will activate my bishop here. But my opponent defended. So I put my knight out. Bg2. I played d6. F3, I played knight d7, queen b3. So you can see black is making a lot of moves which are sort of wasteful in nature. Knight b6, and now look at my knight coming and attacking this double pawn, the weakness. Okay, e3, bd7. Now my bishop is going to come to a4. You can see how this is complete victory of my system. I have used my imbalances much better than my opponent. Bishop a4, queen b2, queen a6. Now I'm threatening to win this pawn. There's absolutely no good way to defend it. Rook b1, and I took. Basically, she cannot take here, because after take, this is hanging on c3. Or is it? No, queen c3 bd2. Yeah. So maybe queen d5 is can be played, and I'll be better. So she went queen e2. I played b5, and e4, queen a5, and you can see that basically I managed to win this game without too many difficulties, and this was a victory of the Gingy Indian. Yeah. Now, another inspirational game that I would like to show. By the way, a big thanks to Arun Kumar, who has contributed 20 New Zealand dollars. Thank you, Arun. It's very nice to see people from different countries being here. Like, if you see at the top of the chat, there are these contributions. So there's Rahul, who's contributed in USD. There are in rupees, two people, and now New Zealand dollars. So feels nice. Thank you everyone. So see, now there is this game that I played which was against Marcin Sishikovics. I don't know how to pronounce this name. I think I'll get it back into the board format so you can have a look here. Um, And so what happened in this game, this was a very important game for me. It was played at the World Juniors, and again it was one of those tournaments which I prepared so hard for, and then when I went there I was getting good positions and losing, getting good positions and drawing. And so I said to myself, chuck all my preparation, I'm going to play aggressively. And so I was in Poland playing for India in the World Juniors. I said I will play the Gingy Indian, and I played this. My opponent went h4. I went knight f6. He went h5. And the point is, you don't really take this thing because he can sacrifice an exchange and play e4, and then pick up this pawn and put me under a lot of pressure. So I went rook g8. He took knight f3. I played queen a5. Usually the queen comes to a5 in such positions. Queen d3, d6, bg5, knight d7, queen e3, knight e4, and you can see that he's creating pressure on the e7 point here, but I managed to play here, and he took ef and played knight d2. And look at this rook, so active, and this queen looking at my king. But I had things under control. I took on c3, takes, and then at the end, I got a very good position. Actually, I sacrificed two pieces for a rook, and managed to actually get he. In the end, I even sacrificed another piece. So I had four pawns for a piece, and then this was actually a very memorable game for me. Beating, he's now a GM, Marcin Sishekovics, and I managed to win this game. And these three pawns are really strong. So now that you know that how potent the Gingy Indian is, it's basically black wants to do everything in the world to keep the position closed, okay, here, and take advantage of these pawns by playing queen a5, d6, knight d7, knight b6, bd7, bishop a4, queen a6, put pressure here. White, what should white do? So my question to you here is, if you were white in this position, how would you play it? Just by not knowing the opening, but by knowing the imbalances, you know that you have the bishop pair, you know you have to do something. What do you do here? Okay, Split Rook says, Sir, teach us a system to play against the stupid Grand Prix attack. Well, I would say just look at just in Mega Database. Okay, what you do is you go to you make the moves. Okay, let me show you that. And it's a technique that I learned from Vidit. I had explained this yesterday, but I'll come back. Okay, anyone? G4, Arun Dikshit says, is a move I have essayed before. Looks slightly dubious. Yes, G4 is possible, not at all bad, but there is a much more powerful move that is said by Vishal Kamath, very good. Al Bab, Neev Patel, Tejas Joshi, Sumed Ramteke, Probal Ghosh, everyone, Samir Unadkat, Shuryansh Verma. Well done, guys. You are definitely in there. You are understanding imbalances very well. That right now it's important to even give material. Material is one imbalance, but to open up the position is very important. So to make use of your bishop pair, if you can't open them, so I take. And now what next? What should white do here? Okay, Manu Das says, your lessons have definitely changed the way I think and approach chess. I always had passion for chess, but professional education didn't give me time to pursue my interest in chess. These lessons help. Wonderful, Manu. I hope that they inspire you to work harder. Of course, what I do in 1.5 hours is not enough, but I think it shows you a path. That first thing is, try to think for every move that you make. Look at the imbalances, try to understand. And second thing, which I have been trying extremely hard to make you understand, is that your games are your true gems. If you can make your games work on them and learn from them, nothing like it. Okay, so what are the moves that are suggested here? E4, everyone said. Anyone else? Yes. Very good, guys. Pooja Duggar, Nupur Sancheti, Chanchal Jas, Tehen. Sachin Paul says E4 G4 unconventional development, capitalizing on the weak F4 square. Okay, maybe F4 is slightly weak, but not really that. I want to just blast open the position. That's the main thing here before black can even develop. And this is also Virinchi Vadali, Subradeep Ghosh, Gargi DC, Karan Parikh, Akshit Bhatia. So many people say the right move. I don't know how you guys are so strong. F3, and then if he takes, you take with the knight. Put your bishop here, castle, and suddenly this guy is saying, if he could talk, he would say, what did you do? You just exposed me completely. Like for example, bd3, castles, and bishop will jump in here, knight will come to g. It's going to be a game over. So maybe you could think about giving back the pawn here, but once again you will see that white is very happy. Knight e2 or f4, knight f3. So this system, which if you want to play the Gingy Indian, then prepare something against e4. Otherwise, you may lose your games, and then don't blame me, yeah, if you lose something like that. Okay, Jayant Rao says, how will I get chessbase 15 and mega database if I choose email format because I don't have any device where I can put C? You'll get the setup file and serial key to your mail ID, so you can install it and use the serial key to activate it. So you don't need a CD drive. It works perfectly and everyone uses it this way. Okay, now Sri Devi Rongali says, thank you, Sagar, for motivating me. The same situation is faced with me and changed my thinking perspective. Great. Okay, Vishal Kumar, I'm not reading your comment because you're asking me the same question. What mistakes are made by 1700 to 1800 players? I feel that one of the mistakes that players make is that they are not keen to improve on their errors. Yeah, so one of the things, please focus on this, and let's try to discuss this question later, because what sort of mistakes they make differ from player to player. Someone can make tactical errors, someone can make positional errors. So what I wanted to show you is, someone said how to make a repertoire or how to beat the Grand Prix. Now this can be used by everyone against any opening. So let's say e4 c5 nc3 nc6 f4 g6 knight f3 bg7 bb5. Okay, this is how Grand Prix happens. Or you can even look at bishop c4. These are the two main moves here. So what I would do is I would click reference because I have the mega database, and so I get all the games. And now this is a small trick that was suggested by Vidit, which is you go to the filter button here. Okay. Virinchi Vadali says, even after knowing this, you played it? No, at that point I was not aware of this move e4 in the Gingy Indian. So I was, ignorance is bliss, you can say. Now I know it. So uh, filter, and here you can say 0 1, and you can say one player should be above 2700. So one player's rating should be about 2700. Black wins those games, and you do okay, and then all the games will be searched, and you will see around 10 games you get. With 10-12 games, go over them, you know and this will really boost your confidence against this system, and you will get a good repertoire, and you don't even have to work for it. Now this is a very good advice that I was given. Anand has played with black. You can see this is a rapid game. Knight d4, he played this, d6. Simple chess, black has no problems, fully developed. So I guess, guys, anyone who has problem against any opening, um, try doing this. Okay. Now there's one question that was asked by Jaideep, I think, which was, if you could ask it again, perhaps that would be nice. I'm trying to flip through it and find your question. Yeah, if chessbase 15 program and chessbase live. So what you're asking is chessbase account, basically this one. When you go to account.chessbase.com, is it similar to chessbase 15? I feel that chessbase account has all the basic features that you want, like you have the live database instead of mega database over here. You have the ability to save your game, analyze your game. But if I am a professional player, and see how I did right now, I quickly filtered these games, I quickly opened this game, I copied it, I pasted it in here. All of this would not happen in chess-based account. So for a professional player like me, or a professional trainer, or someone who's working heavily on chess, I would recommend chess-based 15. But if you are doing some work which is like as a hobby, or you like chess but you want to improve at it step by step, go for the account. You get all the features there, but not the advanced ones. Now the next question you asked is, if I upload a game from chessbase 15, will it show in the web version? Yes, if you use the cloud feature here in chessbase 15, which is somewhere here, then you will be able to, whatever you put here in the cloud database, anything will actually sync with your cloud database here. So if I go here, I will see the same databases which are there in my cloud database, because I have logged in with the same ID in both places. So if you look at databases open, you will see all these databases that I have here are the same ones that I have within chessbase 15 as well. Here, these are the ones. So you can actually work seamlessly through chessbase 15 and cloud. If you put something here, it gets updated there as well. I hope this was useful for you. Ripple Padmani says, is chessbase 14 okay? Well, yes, it's completely fine. There are a few new features in chessbase 15, so you may want to explore that, like replay training, and the search and all is faster. Okay, Glevin Pintos has contributed 20 rupees. Thank you so much, Glevin, for your kind contribution. Okay, so yesterday's homework was that yesterday's homework that was given was to analyze a double pawn game, but our today's class is not yet ended. I finished with the downsides of the backward pawn. Okay, just very quickly, I would like to show you the upsides, or you, I don't think there are upsides to a backward pawn, but I'm going to show you a couple of examples that I have collected. Basically, these can be given to you for homework as well. So I'm going to ask you to take a note, note them down, and try to look at them for all those who would like to do this homework. And I'm going to show them to you right now. So let me just get this here. Yeah. So what I did was, I actually took out a few games of Fischer. These are 4 games, so just write them down. Grossguth versus Fischer in 1956. Grossguth. Hill versus Fischer in 1957. Greenblatt. Greenblatt. What's the name of this guy? Greenblatt program. Okay, against Fischer. And the last one is Ruth D versus Fischer 1956. So these are uh, 4 games of Fischer that I found. Now, why did I find them? I'm going to show you one game here, and I want you to be very alert about trying to understand a bit about a backward pawn, the positive sides of it. So we've spoken a lot about the negative side. I showed you my wonderful games which you are going to go there out there and crush your opponents. Well, I hope that happens, but uh, let's look at the advantage sometimes that backward pawns get, and why some top players choose a backward pawn. Okay, Shanks says, thank you, sir, for this great initiative. Thank you so much, Shanks. You are doing a great job. You are giving good answers, and I enjoy that very much. Knight f3, d6, d4, takes. By the way, Fischer is black in this position against Grossguth. Knight f6, knight c3, a6. Fischer always loved to play the knight off. Bishop e2, e5. And you will see that here black has taken a backward pawn, and when you have a backward pawn, always remember that the square in front of the backward pawn becomes weak. So this is the main problem. If you remember the game Smyslow versus Rudakovsky, you had the bishop coming here, taking this knight, and then plonking this knight on d5. Yeah, very strong. Okay, so bishop e7, bishop e3, castles, queen d2, b5 was played. This was, by the way, junior championship. Uh, I think Fischer would be something around 44 perhaps, so 12 years old perhaps at this point. Okay, Shriyana Malya has contributed 400 rupees. She says, thanks for being you. I think Shriyana is one of the most talented players in young girls in Karnataka and also in India. What? She's just 12 or 13 years old. She's already won a Commonwealth medal, gold medal, I think. So wonderful that you are here. Okay. So now, uh, f3, bishop e6, g4, and my question to you is, what should black play here? Okay, how should black finish his development, or what should he do? Please think and let me know. Arun Polekar says, I love to watch your videos because you teach it clearly. Thanks, Arun. uh, Snaggy has said, can't you open up black's king side with pawn d6 after f5 in Gingy India? Yeah, it's possible to play d6, but I think black can go e5 in those positions. So you have to be careful. And sometimes he can give up the c5 pawn, and then d6 is slightly weak, and c4, c3 is weak. So you have to be careful there. Vishal Kumar says, I want to become world champion in chess. For that, I think to leave studies. Please suggest that I'm correct. If not, tell how I should continue in chess because I study in hostel. Remember that in order to become a world champion or something, it's not like you leave chess or all of that thoughts. When you are doing multiple things and yet you can focus on chess, you can focus on it as much time as you can, and then you're working really hard and also improving there, then you can maybe take a decision of leaving chess. Or you cannot just say, I'm leaving chess, I'm say unrated, or say 1200, 1400, I want to become the world champion, I'm leaving it. That might be a little risky thing to do, although I've seen people doing that as well. So you take a call. When you are improving as a player, you think the time is less for studying, maybe that is the right time to leave your other things for chess. Okay, Uday Paideti d5, New Patel d5, Namita Chede h6. Okay, h6 is a move you make with great caution, because if you play h6, I'll go h4 and then g5 will open up my rook towards your king, which can be very dangerous. So don't make such weakening moves. All those who say D5, including Ilam Parthi, Pankaj Panchal, Warrior 007, Akshit Bhatia, Tinku Saha, Chanchal Jha, Reshu Jain, the have you calculated what are you going to do to G5? Yes, you want to play D5, but what are you going to do to G5? Do you have any idea? Yeah, everyone says d5, but what is your idea to g5? If you move the knight, I'll take the d5 pawn. By the way, we are coming to the end of the session. Today, maybe we won't be able to look at the games that you have sent, but I'm thinking of having a class which is dedicated to all the games you have sent. I would just like to mention that we are, for all those who have just joined in, we are raising funds through these sessions for Prime Minister's CARES Fund that will be used to fight against coronavirus, all those who are in need of money. And we raised nearly 13,000 rupees in the first 7 days. We have raised plenty more today, which will be updated by tomorrow. Just to make things, just to show you guys, I have written an article here on the Chessbase India news page. So if you go to chessbase.in, and all those who were asking me for um, PGN files or the learning material, you can see I've put in things day by day. We saw this game of mine which I played online. This is here with analysis. Then you have day 2 lesson, then also this game, you remember the move here, yeah, bishop g5, and all of this is put up in a nice structured manner. Also the different imbalances, the different points which we have been learning have all been put up here. And then At the bottom we have a link here with the details to pay. First of all, this is another way in which you can contribute. All those who are not contributing via super chat can do it through here. If you click this, it will take you to a link where you can pay with your credit or debit card. And lastly, all the details of people who have contributed individually and how much money is put in here day by day, so that you know that your money is going to go to the right place. It's not like I mentioned that we will do it and it won't be done. What is the PM Cares Fund? Also, you can read about it and contribute towards this good cause. Okay, so time to go back to chess, and all of you who said the move d4 here, well done. You are really very alert that you can give up a piece, and then after gf, bishop f6, Fischer had equalized, maybe is even better, and this is the idea in this entire system. Yeah, so basically he will win one of the pieces, and this is what I want to show you. When you have a backward pawn and you are able to move it forward, it actually releases a lot of problems in the position. In fact, black almost always equalizes or gets a good position. Same thing, you know what we learned in our for what I was showing you in all these things, like e3, knight f6, knight f3, castles, bishop d3, takes d5, castles, knight c6, um, say h3, take, knight a5, bd3, bishop e6, bishop say e3. I'm just making random moves right now. And if your opponent here takes and you are careless here and you play queen d7, and if he can push his backward pawn, this almost always gives him a very good position. So the idea of having a backward pawn is to actually push it forward. Yeah, this is the main point. You push it ahead and then you are able to get a good position. So same thing happens in many of the lines. You and in the Sicilian it happens more often than not that if you can push your backward pawn, you get a good position. Okay, so guys, some homework that I have given you just to recap on that is this one. I have given you a few games of Fischer to look at to understand when the backward pawns are good or bad. That is by Grosguth, Hill, Greenblatt, and Ruth. Please have a look at them. And I have one more small work for you if you can do that. That is Karpov versus Kasparov. This game, although it's not about backward pawns as such, but it is about a lot of imbalances. And while I was searching, I found this game, and I want you to have a look at it, because in this position, which was very well known, everyone used to play, say, bishop e7 or b6 bb7. Kasparov introduced a pawn sacrifice with d5, which just shook the entire world, and it was a world championship match in 1985. And it was really an incredible game which Kasparov won, beating the strongest player at that point, Karpov. So please have a look at this game. It is game number 16 in their 1985 match. By the way, a big thanks to Virendra, who's contributed 20 rupees here. Thanks a lot. Neev Patel asks, what's the plan explorer in Chessbase 15? Well, Neev, okay, I can give you an example. For example, d4, nf6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, knight c3, bishop e7, bg5, castles. Well, I'm just making some random moves. Queen c2, e3, knight d7, bishop d3, castles here, and we reach this position. And now if I had to say play knight f8, now I can just click on plan explorer, and what it does is that it doesn't just suggest the moves which are in this position that can be played by white. That is done by the reference tab. But what Plan Explorer does is that it suggests plans in the position. Like for example, what are the possible plans even a few moves ahead? Okay, let me just check. Why is it not loading? So usually what happens is that it will say that b into c6 is a plan in this position, and you will ask yourself, how the pawn is still on b2? How did b into c6 come into the picture? And well, the point is it will then show you games where white went rook b1, b4, b5 and took. So basically you are exploring plans in a given position. I'll try to make this work. I don't know what is the problem with the Plan Explorer. Perhaps uh, I'll check and I'll get back to you as to why it's not right now working, because everything else seems to be doing okay. But this is essentially what Plan Explorer is about. I'll let you know tomorrow. Okay, so for all the people, Joseph Gita says, what are the differences between mega database and live database? Well, first of all, live database is online and mega database is on your computer. So for example, I have the mega database here. It has annotated games. So if I click here and I go into annotator, I will see nearly 78,000 games are annotated by different annotators. You can say, okay, tell me a game annotated by Carlson, and you will see that Carlson has 26 games annotated where he writes about his experience and all of this. This is not available in live database. So if you go to here and you click on say live database, it will also give you the games. It will also help you in every way, but there will be no annotated games, and you cannot copy the games, you cannot change them, save them. It's not on your hard disk. So that's a difference between the live database. Look, here there are games, but these are not annotated games. Many of them, they are just plain games. So that's a big difference. How to link our local database with cloud database, says Sumed. Well, Sumed, the easiest way to do is take the games in any new database, for example this one, copy them and go to cloud database, make a new database and paste it in it, and I think that should work. Setu Minocha says the Plan Explorer doesn't work for me also. Yeah, I think it's a heavy feature, but it was working for me before. I have changed my laptop recently and I didn't check it until now, but I'll do that and tell you tomorrow. Jayant Rao says how to download Chessbase 15 and Mega Database on Microsoft Surface or Windows. It's very simple. You place an order, you get exe files, you download them and start using them. Okay, any more questions? Is Chessbase 13 good nowadays? Subranil Ghosh. Yes, it should be okay. Although, I mean, it's like asking, is iPhone 8 good or Samsung Note 7 good? It's just good. The phones are good if it's working. It's just that the newer versions have come and there are more features. So you need to decide whether you want to change or not. Funny Verma says, if I change computers, can I use Chessbase 15 and Mega Database? Yes, you can, and we will help you in case you have any issues. You can write to us at chessbaseindia@gmail. Usually, a key can be used 3 times for personal use, so it should not be a problem. Harsh Suryavanshi says, have you read Understanding Chess Middle Games by John Nunn? It's very nice book. Yes, I have read it. In fact, I we have that book in our shop as well. So if anyone wants to get it, Subradeep Ghosh, if you show us King's Indian Defense someday, that would be useful. Not a big expert at that opening. Maybe better to have someone else teach you that. Okay, what is the homework for today? Well, The homework is to look at those four games of Fisher and also Kasparov versus Karpov versus Kasparov game, which is simply phenomenal game. Try to understand imbalances at every different junctures, and you will learn a lot. Namita Chede says, I want to buy chess base, so which one should I buy? Well, I think chess base 15 is good. Go for it. If you think you want to work light, you want to watch videos, you want to solve tactics, you want to play online, go for chess base account. Okay, so I think we'll call it a day for today, and we will get back tomorrow at 9 a.m. And perhaps it's time to look at more games that are sent by you. If any of you play interesting games, have something interesting to share, please share your game on chessbaseindia at gmail. And to all those who keep asking, do you get my games? Of course, I get them. I look at them, I'm saving them, but I also want to teach you. So basically, I'm trying to keep a balance between the two. Sometimes I overstep it, but I hope today's class was useful to you, and we will uh, meet again tomorrow. This is Sagar Shah signing off. See you.